Jesus coming, this beauty that's entered the world, that comes into that just like nasty ugliness of life, the mud, the trash, the dirt, the smells, and where he goes becomes a garden. Where he goes is transformed by his presence, because what he does is he makes all things new. Brothers and sisters, it is revival time, Eucharistic revival time. Father Malachy coming to you again from Matagalpa, Nicaragua. Joy to be here with you. Joy to say to you, happy Feast of Corpus Christi. This feast is amazing. This feast is awesome. And it goes all the way back to the 13th century, 1264. Pope Urban instituted this amazing feast in honor of the presence of Jesus Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist. And it wasn't something that just kind of fell out of the air either. It was actually the response of the heart of the people, their love and devotion, the growing awareness that progressed through time of the church, of this mystery that had been entrusted to her in the Eucharist, this mystery of God's presence among us. And the encounter with that loving presence, there in the context of Mass was something that overflowed, because people were meeting there the love of God made flesh, Jesus Christ. And in meeting him, guess what? When you meet somebody, when you experience their loving presence, you want to spend more time with them. So what comes from that? Adoration. What comes from that? These beautiful processions, something that's a part of the tradition of Corpus Christi. And right now at this moment in the life of the church, there's a wonderful initiative that's coming that's called the National Eucharistic Revival. Reviving this encounter with the love of God and the Blessed Sacrament, reviving this awareness of the presence of love made flesh that's on the altar, that's in the hands of the priest, that please God is in the monstrance that we kneel before and adore, that we carry in procession on this feast. Now these processions, I don't know how many of you have seen a Eucharistic procession before, were not something that was a part of my life growing up in Georgia. All right, Georgia, 3% Catholic, so Eucharistic processions, something that I just never saw. Except maybe in a movie, and even then, I don't even have a distinct memory of seeing one in a movie. But I do remember the first time that I did actually see a Eucharistic procession. And it was Corpus Christi, 2004. Before I was a friar, I was in Tijuana, Mexico. So I was there spending some time with the Missionaries of Charity. And on the Feast of Corpus Christi in this neighborhood, this barrio where they had their house, we had a procession. Now, if you know anything about the Missionaries of Charity, you know that wherever they're at, those neighborhoods, those places are poor, and the poorest of the poor, that inspiration in the heart of Mother Teresa to go and love Jesus right there in the poorest of the poor. So we're there in this neighborhood that's like filled with dirt and mud streets, these homes that are sometimes made out of like extra thrown away refuse that's come across the border from the States, sometimes with bricks and mortar, sometimes with tin roofs, sometimes with no roof except for a piece of black plastic. But here in this neighborhood, there was a procession that was organized, and we started in church, walk out, and I still remember, I was like looking around, and everybody is just smiling. Absolutely grinning from ear to ear. And here comes Jesus, held by the priest, underneath a canopy, 4 servers walking along, incense in front of him. And as he's walking and processing with the Blessed Sacrament, in front of him, there's like 5 or 6 young girls, maybe between the ages of like 5 and 8 years old, that have these large baskets in their hands. And they're just strewing rose petals, like literally just like throwing them all over this dirty, trash-filled mud road that we're walking on with the Blessed Sacrament, strewing these rose petals. And literally like the fragrance of that, the fragrance of rose was filling this neighborhood. And we went processing in this way. And then we came to the first home, and to my shock, like this home that, would be a place that for me, it looked ugly from the outside, naturally speaking. But they had turned it into a place of beauty, built an altar in front of it, flowers decorating. They had these, alfombras, how do you say that in English? Like a rug made out of sawdust that's like got a design in it of a chalice and a host that had been painted. It was amazing. Here in this neighborhood. And then Jesus right there on the altar, brought and placed and kneeling down before him with all of these people and adoring the Lord. And I remember just sitting there looking at this mystery, so simple, right? Like so like nothing, like a little like thin wafer. But here in the midst of this slum of Tijuana, here on this day of Corpus Christi, this procession, revealing the reality of who he is. Jesus coming, this beauty that's entered the world, that comes into that just like nasty ugliness of life, the mud, the trash, the dirt, the smells, and where he goes becomes a garden. Where he goes is transformed by his presence, because what he does is he makes all things new. Jesus comes. He comes into our lives exactly as they are, not like we want them to be, not the pretty version that we think we ought to be. He comes to us exactly where we're at. And if it's a hot mess, that's okay. He comes there. And as those little girls are like strewing rose petals and we're walking over them, I'm just looking down on the ground and it's covered with rose petals, but they're also beginning to be walked in and stamped into the mud, mixed with the trash. And it's like this nearness, this like, I don't care how messy it is, I want to be with you. I don't care how poor you are, I want to be with you. I don't care how broken you are, I want to be with you. And when someone encounters the love of Jesus, most especially in the Blessed Sacrament, something inside of us like rises up and says, I want to be with him, and I want to show others this joy of knowing him. And that's why these processions began to develop hundreds of years ago. And today in this moment, the church is inviting us, the bishops of the United States are calling and saying, let's revive that. Let's revive that beauty of Jesus' presence in our midst. Let's revive our faith in the truth of who he is, hidden in the mystery of the Eucharist. Let's revive this encounter with love made flesh. It comes to us on every altar, in every tabernacle, in the hands of every priest who's celebrating Mass, in every monstrance that's being knelt before or carried in procession. And brothers and sisters, if there's not a procession that you can go to on Corpus Christi, find a chapel, find anywhere where you can go and be with him. And if that's not even possible, maybe you're homebound, you're sick, maybe you're in prison, I don't know. It's like, if you can't get there, then ask him, come, Lord Jesus. Come, Lord Jesus. He wants to be with us. He comes to us, and he comes to us to make all things new. So let's take this opportunity, this gift of this revival, this Eucharistic revival, to allow God to revive our faith, revive our lives, revive our families, revive our church, revive our country, revive the world with the presence of his love made flesh, given to us in this gift, in this mystery of the Eucharist, his body, his blood, his soul, his divinity, for you, for me. And this gift is our food on this journey. As we're coming along, somos peregrinos, poco a poco, un día vamos a llegar al cielo.